Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, March 16th, 2022. And I said March 16th because we're going to start off definitely on a good note and start off by wishing my mother, the one that gave me life, a happy birthday. I'm going to bring my brother in. I was going to do an introduction, but I know he'll want to be in to wish Mama Java a happy birthday. So before we get started this morning, definitely want to wish my mother a happy birthday, celebrate you. She turns 25 years old today, so that makes me about maybe 15 or so. So Ma, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Darren, you good there?
Yes. Happy birthday, Mama Harris. Java with Jimmy, Mama. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy born day.
Happy born day, happy birthday. And so put those birthday salutations in the comments for Mama Java today. And so we, as we do on every Wednesday, today is We Need to Know Wednesday. And I wanted to bring Darren in based on a post he did the other day, based on also a live he did the other day. And I was quite surprised at what I saw and observed. And I saw some stuff on social media in reference to, and we've talked about Black spaces and you know, opportunities for us to go out and celebrate and do things like that. And so I reached out to Darren after I saw the video and I said, hey, what are you doing next week? We need to talk about this. And so Darren, go ahead. It's not Freestyle Friday, but go ahead and greet the people. We can do Freestyle Friday on We Need to Know Wednesday. Greet folks. And then we'll jump into this situation that you know happened. And it wasn't just, well, anyway, go ahead and say good morning and we'll go right in.
Good morning, Java family. Thank you all for tuning in. Shout out to Java Jimmy. I know he's just celebrating, you know, couple of years now, right? Of this platform. Well, I'm giving him his flowers in advance of that celebration. But yeah, pleasure to be here. Clearly, I've been kind of slowing down with venting on the lives and doing lives. I've been really focused on sharing memes that I steal and put my photo to. So, that's been my little social media approach. But yeah, I had to go live to really just share my thoughts around an incident that occurred this past weekend. And really wanting to just, you know, ask the community, like, how do we do better? You know, I know a lot of folks who have seen the video that started circulating.
Let's back up a little bit, only because what are you looking at and seeing comments?
Yeah.
I could tell. And so let's back up a little bit. For the past few months, you've talked about this before. You have volunteered and worked with a wonderful queen who is a Black business owner, twofold in this community for 42 years?
43 years, yeah.
43 years. And so you stepped in and helped out Miss K over at K's Oasis. And so give a little, you know, quick 30-second, stepped in and helped. And that'll give folks some context that don't know that why we're here and the incident and all that other stuff.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, I'm a community political activist that randomly starts projects with a vision in mind, right? Like I have this visual in my head that I would like to see play out.
Help us, Jesus. Help us, Jesus.
Go ahead. Like James knows intimately well, like the thing in my head oftentimes doesn't get communicated out as, you know, clear sometimes, but when you see it, it becomes an amazing picture. And there's so many different examples of that that visual that has occurred. We can go down a laundry list, the Drive Boston. We can look at my mentor friend, his homegoing celebration. We can look at the COVID care packs and what our back and forth around that was about, right? We can look at the Drive Boston annual toy drive, right? There's visions that come in my head that I'm like, oh, can I exhaust all the different resources, services, relationships that I've come to develop to see if that vision can be complete. So with Kay's Oasis, there was clearly a need to for us to socialize, given the impact that we've all had due to the pandemic, right? There is a hierarchy of needs when it comes to socializing, right? You don't want to find yourself a hermit in a corner somewhere trying to figure out how to live. So with Kay's Oasis, she's been a good friend of my mom's, a good friend of the family, neighbor. For years, she's asked if I could be supportive and help her out. I let her know I'm not an entertainer. I'm not a DJ. I'm not a club promoter. So if I'm going to help you, it's going to be around how you function and operate. That's where I feel I could be of use.
Yep.
So when I found out how the function hall did not currently, when I initially started, have an entertainment license, right? So most people knows Kay's Oasis for being a social space for the Caribbean community. A lot of Caribbean parties have occurred there over the years, as well as other type of things. But without an entertainment license, you cannot have any amplified sound, right? So that means you would have to request one-day entertainment license in order to have any type of sound in the building, amplified sound. You got people talking. She had a liquor license, so you got people drinking, but you can't listen to anything, right? Or hear anything.
Not even a jukebox.
Not even the jukebox. Jukebox is a part of an entertainment license. It's one of the areas. So that was where we needed to start at. Let's get you the right paperwork and documentations for your for the way you are clearly functioning, right? But we need to make sure that I's are dotted, T's are crossed, so that you can function without asking for permission. So we go through the process to get the entertainment license, community meeting, zoning, blah, 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 blah. That gets done, but then the pandemic happens, right? So there was no time to really expose the community to the fact that she can operate a lot differently than how she has been functioning. Right, it's been more event-based. If you have an event, you pay a fee. She gets the bar. You get to do whatever you're doing with the door or whatever, right? So that's the way she was functioning versus being the neighborhood bar. There is no neighborhood bar in the Dorchester area, especially that space that I think about. Not targeting our community, right? I can't say there's not bars. You go up and down Dorchester Ave, there's plenty of bars, but there's no bars that target us, cater to us, welcomes us, right?
And have big space.
And have the space and the capacity. And that's something that is unique about Kay's, I think, amongst all of the venues that cater to us. And there's only a few, right? We can name them. Darrow's, we can name Fort Hill, we can name Dublin House, we can name Slade's, we can name...
And Underground, though it's not night. Underground is part of our, daytime for us brunch folks.
So we just highlighted about 5.
Yep.
There may be 6, right? I'm not even going to say what half of the, we named half. No, there's probably like 6, maybe 7.
The spot, and the old Rose Club.
Well, that's not targeting our community, right? And that's why I said the target. Macuma's targets a lot of the Latino community, which is fine. They're limited in their spaces as well, right? So but Kay's uniqueness is the capacity that it has, right? Yeah. She has the capacity to have 500 people in that space, which to me said like, wow, this is a place that we can, if developed, if modernized, if it had the aesthetics, the atmosphere, it can be a place that we can appreciate and call our own. Even though she's the owner, we as the community can take some ownership of it as well. Oh yeah, definitely, Rob. There is no parking. So when people be like, "K's don't have parking," there's no parking at any of them.
Hold on. Listen, Darren doesn't have the skill set I have yet to not pay attention to the comments because we'll be off in the whole thing. But Rob, you're right. But Darren, one of the things that you did that, and Nikki has named, and we've kind of joked about this, and it is a service to the community. K's has availed itself to a lot of families that are dealing with people that transitioned. And so that acknowledgement there, because I see that I've gotten a chance to talk with you where you're running and managing and trying to make sure things are opened up, and they can do that as people are mourning. So we want to name that. But the other night,
we're going right there. We're going right there. I just wanted to give that context of why I'm there, right? I'm there helping. I'm not there, even though people have referred to me as the manager, she's referred to me as a manager. That was just to change the community.
You're the manager now?
Like, and again, I'm an organizer, right? So I had to do an assessment of the situation, right? If I'm going to help. And so we realized that the perception of Kay has been the owner, operator, manager, this and that, to change that bartender, to change the perception, then you had to show the community as something different, right? So me saying the manager was just to say, you can interact with me and not have to go through Kay, right? If there has been her history with dealing with people. So it was just acknowledging that there's history attached to her that's not attached to me. So let's create the perception of separation, right? Like, go through me. But if you call her and you got a relationship with her, you can go through her too, but you might have your history and we do business differently, right? And that's just with different people. And so I've been there for about the last 8 months, right? I only told her I was going to give her 3 months of support. So that tells you why, for me, the commitment be about seeing the vision to its fruition.
For it to come to pass. Yep.
And a lot of the avenues that I felt I would like to travel were not available in its entirety, right? And because of the relationships I would love to see, I was trying to get small business grants, try to figure out what type of federal funding. But because 8 months ago, the city was in a transition, right? We went through 3 mayors in 1 year, right? Like, so the folks that were in different spaces, there was a degree of uncertainty, right? And I didn't want to start something with someone and then they not be there and have to try to, catch whoever the new person up, right? So I ended up waiting for the new administration to get it put in place. But in the meantime, trying to figure out ways for the business to stay afloat. So and James is going to mention it, but yes, I am looking at the chats while I'm doing, because yes, we did celebrate the life of Toya. We have created a different perception of the venue and how it functions and operates by exposing different things, from the hip hop community to International Wednesdays, where there's been talent showcase. We have had Karaoke Tuesday, not the karaoke we're going to talk about, but we have Karaoke Tuesday. We have Live Music Thursday. We
had a comedy show there, right?
Yep, we had a comedy show there, and we've had several repasts there, right, to create that space for families to congregate. So there's been different things other than the Caribbean community activities, right? So those have still functioned and gone on, but trying to expose other people, other activities, themes for the venue. So press fast forward.
Yes.
This weekend. This weekend, because we still have been functioning on an event base, right? And there's days when people have not rented out the space. And so I reach out to my network of peers and explain to them what's going on, what's available, see if they would like to do something at the space to generate the revenue, right? Like, she needs to still stay afloat. And so one of my friends had a great idea, called it Trap Karaoke. Now, being in the club now for these last 8 months, I got a good lens now of what I'm involved in, right? So Trap Karaoke, I'm thinking about the music, hip hop community. I mean, y'all, to the audience, y'all know Mary J going blind.
Let me start some trouble with my old self. Is trap really hip hop? Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
So I think trap.
I'm messing.
No, because I seen something that was so interesting the other day. Somebody else had a trap karaoke, one of my friends out in Illinois. And what he explained trap karaoke meant was extremely interesting. He said to rise above poverty. So it made me feel like, that actually was people having a good time socializing, committing that community capital. Rise above poverty. So I don't know, but it was the energy that was in the building that was definitely something that was positive. I don't want to sit back and say the incident, yes, as it was negative, the energy was positive. People were having a great time, enjoying each other's company, mixing and mingle. But the reality is, alcohol does influence, the way people behave, view things. And people started drinking very early, in terms of getting their mood right. Who knows how many people pre-gamed before they even got to the club, right? Like, so alcohol does play a role.
See, you about to make me lose my whole mic and system. Go ahead.
So I believe that. And so I did a post, right, while I was there, because the promoters, they did pre-sale tickets, right, Eventbrite. So they had a sense of who was coming. And when they let me know that it was nothing but females, right, there was no males and people were buying bottles, right? Like, and we don't sell the actual physical bottle. We pour it in a container, right? So I seen someone saying people's throwing bottles. There was no bottles being thrown because there's no bottles. Now there's some containers, and that might have got tossed around a little bit, but people were enjoying it themselves. And then I went around prior to the incident, and I started telling people, I said, there's no distraction in here. There's a lot of women. Where is the males to distract these women, right? Like there got to be some type of balance in the space. And it was like, you can't have this many women in our community.
You about to get in trouble.
No. This many women and think they don't know each other. There might not be people that have issues with one another in this space. Like, and alcohol again plays an influence, right? And how that sense get amplified. So when I was looking around saying there's no distractions, right? Every time a female
at what time was that? How many hours were they in sipping?
Yeah, so let's say the doors opened about 8:30. And I want to say there was a nice crowd around 9:15.
Okay.
Bottles started being
purchased
and consumed around 9:30. So around 12 o'clock, 11:30, 12 o'clock, people was feeling good, and if you could see some of the other videos, people were really having a good time, nothing you bucket and all those Mary J's, it's going down, right? Like people were singing that karaoke, right? They were singing the words. But the reality is, again, something had to happen. I'm not saying like something happened in the sense of something popped off, because there was Marvin Sapp.
So go ahead, set the stage, and then I got to give my commentary, because that thing there. Go ahead.
So let's be clear. There is no smoking in any building in Massachusetts. Like, it's not just the clubs, it's any building. Like, that's the law, right? And unless you got some grandfather license, which there's only 2 venues, then there is no smoking in any building. So I wanted to start that.
I learned a lot being in this space. Go ahead, D.
Yeah, because you got to figure out, because the people, right, the consumers want to do certain things that they've been exposed to in other cities. And if anyone from the administration is watching, please, can we have a conversation around changing the smoking in venues, like hookah? Like you can smoke hookah and it's not gonna burn the building down, but the law right now in Massachusetts, especially Boston, it's very clear that you cannot have any inhaling products in a venue.
Listen, right now, I get the general point. Had it not been for COVID, but yeah, inhaling and exhaling right now.
Yep. So if anyone's looking, administration, this is a win. You just adjust the current policy from the Menino administration that changes it, that allows for hookah to be consumed in venues. People are doing it anyway. You just busted a place in Eggleston for a hookah lounge. Like, they're going to try to figure out what the people want. So create a space for that to happen. We're at the space. People are feeling themselves. Marvin Sapp comes on. Never would have made it, right?
You singing? Okay, go ahead.
I wasn't singing, but that's one of my all-time favorite songs right now. It's been that, right? I done did a few lives with that as my intro before I start my conversation. So I will never look at the song the same. Let's just say that right now. And so we
go. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You about to make me mess up here.
So the person who's videotaping it, she's in her zone. She's doing, just feeling the vibe. You could just tell she's into it, right? so into it. She's smoking. And I sat back and said, geez, and I don't have enough security, right? Security costs money. Let's be clear. Like, so having someone roam the club of a space that size, it's not easy. And then to have the amount of personnel costs. So the reality is it's not allowed. It's how people just choose to do things and break rules. So I'm not going to sit back and say that it hasn't been a point of frustration, because it's not like people don't know. People get offended, right? I've tried to accommodate in other ways to make sure that meeting people where they're at. But again, people's going to end up community. That's why I say my video is about community. We have to do better. This isn't about me.
And that's the point of why you're here today. Go ahead.
And so the song goes on, and the person doing the video, all of a sudden you just see her facial expression change, and she tapped the button to switch the camera, right? And as soon as she switched the camera, and I'm going to talk to the DJ, because it's like, you just kept the song going, right? I was waiting on the world.
He was trying to just make sure that, maybe the music has influence. And he said, well, I guess the fighters wanted to get up out of there, and they're going to make sure they make it.
Right. They and there's been all the type of what happened, who said what, who did what. And it's like, I don't know. Like we could speculate. Someone said you never would have made it, and that was all someone needed to. But I don't know.
Wait. All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So that incident pops off, and clearly it turned into something. Others got involved because people were there with their people, right? Like, and so others got involved. And so my goal during that time when I seen it, and trust me, I was the person that first looked, was like, oh, shoot, and didn't realize the role I was in. So I was like, oh, I got
to handle this. You looking around for somebody going, oh, wait, that's me.
Right. So, and so the goal at that moment is de-escalation. It's about trying to get the energy calmed down and the people separated so that we can get some sense of control, right? So we bring everybody outside that looked like they had anything to do with that, right? People start getting pulled out. No one got dragged out, even though that's what's said in the video. Like, people will get dragged out because it was to the point, again, there's no men there. There's only women. It's 98. The crowd is about 98% women. So it's like being conscious. Women don't want to be grabbed, manhandled. This is like still being conscious of being responsible, even in the face of chaos.
Yes.
Right? Like, and so we get everybody. Nobody was hurt.
If you don't stop looking at them y'all leave Darren alone.
I was going to say that anyway. It's good that no one was arrested. It's good that nobody was physically harmed, that they went to the hospital. But the reality is things could have went a lot of different ways, right? When things pop off and chaos happens. So my video was about saying, do I need to be continually putting myself in situations that I could be spending my time and attention doing something else, but I know I'm doing this for community. I'm not doing this for self, right? Yep. And I haven't exhausted all the avenues that I've been looking to explore to see if that vision can become a reality. But when it's this type of behavior that's taking place and the liabilities that are around that, right? Like, that becomes we need to be more responsible. You need to grab your peer and have them calm down, or escort them out before it escalates. Don't throw fuel onto the fire, because as much as people want to highlight the security, and I have an issue with the security and their actions that night. But when someone says investment in security, it's like security costs money. Right? Like it's not a free service. So when you start looking at how things are functioning and operating, the devil's in the details. You can't just make things magically compare. Like people say, I have a heart of gold because the things I do doesn't seem the norm, right? Where I'm like, yeah, and for transparency reasons, I'm not a person about paperwork. I'm about you say what you mean and mean what you say. I'm gonna hold you accountable for the words that come out your mouth. And if you can't honor your own words, then we don't need to do business, right? Like, so I don't need to have a paper trail and all that to be like, well, you said this. And people said, Darren, that's not always the way you should go about business. I'm like, I don't put myself in a position that I can't walk away from. That's the uniqueness about when I explore a project. So K's is a project. So I can walk away and recognize there's a domino effect to me walking away, right? Same thing with the toy drive. And like when I get frustrated, it's at the point where I'm like, I'm not naive to others will be impacted by a decision that I make. And that's why I sometimes stomach it, push through that frustration, because I recognize I'm in a unique position because someone gave me a chance to be in the position. So I don't want to not appreciate, not value it, but I am human too, right? Like, I'm like, hold on, this is what y'all want to do. This is how y'all going to behave. Like, and no one's going to help out. And instead, people's going to continue to add fuel to fire. And it's like, well, what happens when we don't have the spot? You're going to blame Kays, or will you blame the community? Right. So,
and this is my point, because in addition to what some of my family's on, in addition to what happened at your spot and Thaddeus, what Darren said was that never would have made it was on. Girl was smoking, and then instantaneously she flipped the camera, and the start of the fight wasn't captured. Never would have made it. And oh, you see, you got me singing like you. Dosa. And then all of a sudden, boom. And it was, they had alcohol, so it was slow motion and all that. But the point that Nikki, who is familiar with the situation, there was another situation at Slade's, I understand, over the weekend.
Twice.
And so to Nikki's point, and to what you said earlier, and the community needs to realize the more these things happen, it makes it hard to have these different venues. And even if they don't shut down the venues, used to be in City Hall. Darren, you probably know this. By design or not, in the city of Boston, when you apply for an event permit, there is a clear line of delineation between a live band and a DJ. Darren, am I right? If you have a DJ listed as your music, you get scrutinized more. If you have a live band, it's not as scrutinized. Why? In hip hop and black and brown spaces, we tend to do what? Use more DJs. In other spaces, maybe not as much. Now, we got some live dope bands in black and brown spaces, but in this scene, it's morely DJs. And that's always been an issue with some of the promoters and DJs. It is, in a sense, by design. But to Nikki's point, even if the venues are still there, Darren, Miss K, Nia, Dublin, when they go to apply for permits where there's a DJ, the city will be like, nah.
Or renewals, right?
Or renewals for the business permit. So people are not only, let's break this down. People are not only potentially calling instantaneous harm to themselves and those in their close proximity from fighting. They're also impacting the community. You said it spilled out into the street. Something went wrong. Too bad. It could have went the worst way. Somebody got shot. Somebody could have got hit by a car. It impacts the community. Then there's another avenue of this. You impact a Black-owned business, and not just the owner and their bottom line, the waiters, the bartenders in this.
Oh yeah, this project is literally at the height of it, social and economic development, right? People can have a career, people can have their talent exposed, create that space for us as a community, right? I've often told people, I was like, where do you go in Boston if you're a hip hop artist? Like, just where? Like, tell me the stage that you go to, and by no means I'm not blaming anybody.
No,
I'm saying that as a community, we have to do better. We have to hold each other down. We have to recognize that, listen, even that incident, it started near the stage. I have 4 security in general for that size crowd, right? 1 at the back door, 1 at the side door, 2 at the entrance. So there's not someone walking around floating. But even when you look at the melee that took place, how could it have been stopped? Right? Like if something's going to happen, someone has an issue, then that means the crew that came there should have been someone responsible in that crew to say, nah, we can't do this here. It's not just going to impact the person you got drama with. It's going to impact the entire thing potentially. So when there's conversations going on with trying to get it modernized and redeveloped and get access to stuff, the first thing they're coming at is saying, well, if we do this, are we setting it up for these things to continue to happen, right? Like 2 + 2 = 4. So it's like
they will use that. They will use that because let's do a quick lesson. When you apply for a permit, You go before the board. I think it's on Tuesdays. BPD is there. I think Public Works, Fire Department, and they sign off. Every time there's an incident, when folks don't want us to come together, let's say at best case scenario, at the bottom of their hearts, though some are white supremacists and won't let us do what we want to do. Let's say that's not the case. In the bottom of their heart, their real concern is the safety of Black and brown folks in these venues. Let's say that's the case. The more there are incidents, the more you give them ammunition to say no to these events. And to Prop's question earlier, I don't know if he's trolling or serious, but I want to be intentional about the fact we're not saying that the DJs are the issue. What we're saying is a trend in the type of entertainment that we gravitate towards as Black and brown people. We tend to utilize DJs. What I'm saying is that those that fill out those permits know that. And so if it's a DJ'd event, more than likely, there's going to be a lot more of the hip hop community.
It's a lot more scrutiny. It's a lot more attention. Like that's all it is.
Happen. I seen it happen over 10 years ago.
And what I've even said to DJs while they're DJing, I'm like, you got to help out as well. You can get on the microphone. Listen, no smoking. Listen, y'all calm down over there, right? Like you can play a role, right? And even when it's time to go, I'm the person at the club. Like, listen, the venue needs to be shut down by 2:00. I would love people to be out of here. So I've adopted, I'm gonna turn the light on at 1:45 so that you can turn the music off by 1:50. That's not so that you can play 2-3 more songs. It's to say, let's get everybody out and home safe. The goal is for people to have a good time and to make it home safe. So if you can't be supportive of that, and then there's after parties, right? I'm not gonna throw nobody under the bus. There's after parties. So it's like, go to the after party if you still want to keep partying and enjoying yourself. But the business is closed and staying open. Police is 1 block away. They see all this activity. It becomes those violations that get stacked up. So when something unfortunate happens, this is how they shut your venue down permanently. That's why there's no venues on Blue Hill Ave. There is no Packies anymore. There is no 3Cs anymore. There is no like we can go. What else is on? Was down there? Breezeways was down there, right? Like there is nothing on the main strip of the Black community, and K's is the last venue standing. Why would you not try to help it if you recognize there is a need for a space like this?
And that's
I'm just leading by example of saying this is what help looks like. It doesn't come with any a hidden agenda. It didn't even come with a contract. It's saying, if I'm going to help you, this is what my support looks like. And if I can't do it, I can walk away. That's why it's been a little frustrating as I'm at the tail end, the city's in order, and now I can explore the avenue I've been wanting to find out about. It's like, geez, community, like, can you all help? Like I'm asking for the community's help, right? I'm not asking for anything for me. I do not make a dime off of anybody running K's space. I make it clear to the promoters, to the DJ. I said, if you will give, this is the cost that we can discuss the numbers, but you put your money in K's hand, because I don't want you to even under the impression that I'm adding a ticket to it. I'm doing anything like that. Like, because if I chose to walk away, I don't feel guilty, right? That means other people, yo, D, I was trying to do this. D, I was holding. Yeah, I know. I was doing all these other things though. And clearly there was a limited level of support. And then all of the drama, the chaos, the entitlement, right? Like, it's like, whoa, hold on. What happens if I remove myself? You can continue to deal with K, but that's the 43 history that she's there. And so I'm trying to just get people to understand, like, and I'm glad you provided the space that I'm not saying I need to do better. I'm saying we could have had 1,000 security. If it pops off, you get your girl. Like, you help with the separation. I need to jump in. That's my people's. Trust me, I'm the type.
Over 30. What do you? I just
over 30. This was not the young 20. Just preteens. This was grown. These were grandparents out here. Right. So to sit back and be like, it's not age, it's community. Like, community, we have to do better in opportunities like this. And I sat back and realized, like, sometimes I it's self-inflicted. I put myself in the situation. That's why I know I can separate myself at any given time. And it's what is it? All the community do is can be, Darren, why'd you do it? Because I felt like it. Just like it made the sense to do. Like, I'm gonna make sure I'm safe. I'm not trying to be in court because somebody got really hurt or something really bad happened, and I now got to be in front of different people explaining why this was allowed to happen or how, like, who wants to do that? As the summer is approaching, so I'm glad someone said we are outside. I'm outside 9 out of 10 weekends, right? Like, I'm there, right? We have to do better. And if I start enforcing that, you know what? If you got a lighter in your pocket, you ain't walking in here tonight.
But see, to Asia's
like,
point,
why do it have to be that strict that you have to be
part here? Like, do you now begin to have to put in filters? And no, because the type of person you are, you would walk away before you say, I'm raising the entrance fee to $30. You got to wear shoes and slacks. And I mean, to Asia's point,
I'm not gonna make people uncomfortable because I'm not gonna be uncomfortable.
And there's funny, Darren, because I'm hearing the time I've spent with you coming back up on me now. There's a science behind this, and there's a science behind keeping it successful. And unfortunately, some people, as Asia said, the downtown folks, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. They do it to keep us out. We don't feel like going downtown. To Rob's point about parking and all that other stuff. But props, yes, you can definitely bring up a point, as you always do. But can I go back to Darren, something you said, and Props agreed. Props understands the influence of the DJ. I'll just say Pied Piper. The DJ does have to work with the promoter and the manager, that if something breaks out, or if a good DJ knows how to read the room. And then if no disrespect, just an example, if you're playing 3 trap songs back to back and cats are like, yeah, and it's been a few hours in and people are drinking, as a smart DJ, you might want to bring up some hip hop, Mary, I don't know, some of that fun, what folks would call commercial. And so the DJs, yes, do have a responsibility, but at the end of the day, if the DJ, who we want to say good intended, kept Marvin Sapp playing, it's still the responsibility of the individual and those that are in the crew to kind of look out. Where is it? And it goes back to a word with all that's going on in Ukraine and our community and whatnot, humanity. And I mean, clubs might, people might say, well, James, you're forcing to talk about clubs and humanity. No, as humans, we need to have a good time. We need to be sociable. We need to be sometimes amongst our own culture because we understand each other. We share the appreciation for lyrics and the music and stuff like that. But if we don't take responsibility for ourselves, we are going to, again, impact, possibly get hurt, the people that are fighting, the people around them. It's going to cause an issue for the community. And then at worst, well, the individual being hurt is worse. But then your decision can potentially, one swing, one purpose of rolling by, or one smack, the trickle effect. Far-fetched, James? Maybe. But it can. You thank God, because God knows your heart. Nothing majorly kicked off the other night. But if it did, you're now in the process of trying to help. And if folks want to, block you and stuff, they will troll and easily be like, well, I don't know. There was an incident up there the other night, and does Darren and Miss K, have a plan and all this other stuff? What's their security plan? And and then with B3 being right there, you don't want them getting coerced to chiming in. And then, anyway, I'm sorry.
No, you're right. It's literally and this is all about, like, I don't want to be in that position where the domino effect happens, right? Like, I don't want to sit back and be like, geez, I'm out here just trying to help, Kay, happy belated birthday.
Your thoughts on this, Darren, on what Prop said? Again, Prop, he old school like us, because they bring in.
People bring in. So I don't look at people looking at the upgrades as a reason to respect the space. I look at people looking at the history of saying, this has been known
I got you.
As a venue that caters pretty much predominantly to the Caribbean culture. If I'm there and I have my own reputation, right, of being community centered, giving, all this other stuff, is saying I'm making use of this space to provide it, to open it up to others, right? And so even when I went in there and I was like, we got to change this pace, we got to change this stage, we got to change, because the people I want to invite here might not come here under the current setup, right? The way the current layout is. So we did some light do-overs, right? We changed the paint, we did the dance floor, in the stage, right? But there's still so much more needed for the upgrades. There's still need a kitchen. There's some plumbing work that needs to be done. There's still some other areas, soft spots on the floor. There's a roof that needs to be done. Like, there's other things that will bring it up to downtown comparison, right? Like, in terms of a venue that hasn't been done. And that's the piece that I think would create a different feeling when you come into the space, right? If I go into, I think about the old days when I was younger and I would go into, I'm single and I would go in a female's house, right? And it would be like, do I really want to sit down? Right? So I didn't like, but then if you go into someone else's house where it's like, yo, this person is, got OCD, you don't want to sit down because it's so clean. Right? That's where it's like trying to change it from I don't want to sit down because I don't want to sit on something that might stain my clothes to, no, I don't want to sit down because this is so clean. And that's the type of project this is, like how to get it there. And so in the meantime, still got to stay afloat, got to still pay the bills just for the lights being on, right? So that's where it's like, as folks know, building the plane while flying it. I've done that on several different scenarios. And it'd be amazing. Sometimes we have a great landing, right? When we finally come down.
You know what? I need Emily to watch this so she'd be like, DH. But I mean,
yeah. So the purpose of this, and I know I've seen folks, are y'all going to, and I have to do this because I think it would be a disservice to your platform or anything because we're almost at time. Yeah. Is that there has been some other issues going on that people probably assume we were going to spend all day talking about it. And someone like myself, I feel like I'm in a unique position. As I shared with you earlier, I said, I got to watch a public servant go through a process of dealing with the federal courts. So I know people, are y'all going to talk about this? Is the talk of the community? Everybody's like, guess what? We're not. This is not like Java with Jimmy's platform was never about bringing somebody down, kicking them while they're down. It's allowing them to go through what they're going to go through. And in this type of situation of saying, yeah, do everybody have an opinion? Absolutely. If you want to call me privately, we can have a conversation, but I refuse to do anything on a public platform around what, and I have to use the name, what Monica is going through. There's no reason for it. Like, she has her time in the court system, and she's unfortunately going to have her time in the court of public opinion. It's not going to be on this with me, like, because there's no reason for it. There's no value I get from sharing my opinion on a public platform about what she's going through. There's no value in anyone sharing their opinion unless you're contributing to either the
making things
side or the federal government side. If you're not doing either one of those, in my opinion, you should keep your opinion to yourself and off the public stage. Why do you have to be the person? So I think that that's the only thing I'm going to say, because I have my opinion, but why do I need to share it with the public? Like, if someone wants to call me and have a conversation about how I feel, I have no problem with that. But there's no reason to get on here and start, let's do this, let's do that. Has she done some good in the hood? That's undeniable. Is there other things now coming into question? That is clear. Is there any reason I need to have an opinion about it publicly? No. That's not my job as a community activist, an organizer, is to go and be like, let me just look at what this person's doing and give my 2 cents. Like, no, for what? Like, and so everybody that's feeling their 2 cents is valued, why do you feel it? I think there's only one person that I know has been from our community that has had, clear concerns with that. That's the only person I would expect to hear from. Anybody else, you're looking for attention personally. Like, why are you getting attention off of somebody else's pain? Like, I've never been for that. I'm not going to be for that. I know the system very well. Again, I can keep my opinions in private. There does not need to be the level of opinions publicly that I've seen in the last few 2 days, right? It just, for what? What are you gaining other than attention? because that's all you're looking for. So if we need to start calling people out as attention seekers, let me look for the first thing somebody's going through that's pain, that's tragic, and bring some attention to me. Like, that's not the role of public service. And I was schooled, and I'm working on something now to show that there's a level of humility that comes with public service. There's a level of genuineness that comes with public service. The ones that did it great, they ain't look for no attention. The attention came because of the work they were doing. So if you're out here saying you want to do public service, recognize there is a science to doing it the right way. Like, people always, Darren, you're so humble, because I learned from those in front of me how they moved. Into my mentor, Chuck Turner, God rest his soul. He drove an 82 Nova. He had food on his bed. He made $90,000 a year. He paid for his office out of his campaign account. There's a level of service. There's a level of humbleness and humility that comes from doing it the right way. There's something about that individual. So if you're saying you're into the field of public service, because this is work. I tell everybody, it's a job. It's a job in doing public service work, right? Just like there's a job doing construction work, there's a job doing public service work. And I believe there's a way to do it that people should be like, when they talk about you, you should be humble, you should be gracious, you should be giving. And we all know, James, this is a thankless field of work. I don't look for a thank you. I don't look for an accolade. I don't look for any time. That's why when I usually come on and I event, I say, we. Like I could take a lead, but how are we going to get this done? Because there's no I in team, right? So I'm just trying to say humility is what comes with public service. So please, people, while Monica's going through this, if you are not on the side of the federal government, and if you are not on the side of Monica Cannon Grant, keep your opinion to yourself. She's already going through enough, right? Like, I don't need to kick you while you're down. You're down. So hopefully you get up, because I tell myself I'm living example that you can get to the other side of whatever problem you're going through. Gonna take some time, but you can get to it. And so that's all I wanted to do, because I didn't want us to act like we didn't know this is going on, right? We just gonna talk about what we planned on talking about.
What days ago, the night or whatever, I saw the video. Darren, I'll add to this because I was live yesterday, and same sentiment that you shared, and someone from the community chimed in with the sentiment of how they feel about what is alleged that was done. And that is, as your community driven platform and moving, adjusting to being in this space in the Java Cafe. If the allegations are proven, and the community's disappointment or whatever, that is something that is valid from a community standpoint, because while we're taking the stance and not giving opinion, there is that sentiment that came up. And so I just have to name that people we're from the community too, but there's been some sentiment around that. One of the last things I'll wrap this up and say is, even in all the wonderful paperwork that folks are floating around and forwarding and all this other stuff, there's a little part at the very end that comes out of the U.S. Attorney's Office that said, not verbatim, these are allegations and there's presumed innocence until proven guilty. Are we capping for anyone? No. We are generally making a statement around the fact that one, and you know, absolutely don't practice like, certainly not in this space, though I've been very assertive on some people and whatnot, and I'll give balance, be authentic about that. Ours is to pray, make sure the community's good, and it goes back to the thing, Darren, of humanity. Like, have your opinions, have your concerns, but where is the humane consideration? And I'll see. I'm getting ready to start. I'll end with this.
Yeah, there's people that's going to have different reactions, right? Like, they're going to sit back and say, well, someone did this, so they deserve, it's not on me as an individual, as a human. I am not the judgment of a person, right? I move accordingly with people in general, but this is a field of work. There is accountability measures in this field of work as well, right? Because you are receiving something from others, right? So let whatever this is going to happen, it's going to play out in time. We're going to see what's going to play out, right? Like, so again, if you have nothing productive to say about it and you're just trying to troll, then like you're looking for attention. There's a lot of service out there now. If people are saying whatever they're saying, then guess what? There's a need now that needs to be filled.
Come. Because here it is.
Let's keep it 100. Like, for folks that's usually having an opinion, are you trying to step up and deal with what the person was doing, however they were doing it? Are you going to satisfy that need now that exists?
Besides just sitting back and giving an opinion and waiting for, listen. All right.
And again, I thought about this because, again, I have my personal opinion about it. We all do. It doesn't need to be shared publicly if we know we have a public platform. Why take advantage and do it in that manner? It's not. Guess what? My mom's always told me, the higher you climb, the harder the fall, right? So don't think they ain't gonna come for every single one of us that's in public service. I've been saying it for years. I said, my boss was going through a federal case. I am transitioning from the streets, right? I am conscious of the relationships I have, the activities I was involved in, things that I was doing. I would hate to be sideswiped by something someone else is doing, and then they paint this picture, right? Like, 'cause that's a reality of how they can come. We know how those alphabet boys and ladies play. You know, I'm going to be specific. Like, they play for real. And so there's no hidden secret that there's a 97% conviction rate, because when they come for real. So it's like, I want to make sure my I's is dotted and T's are crossed. I call my
keyword you said there. I,
right? So I hold myself accountable. I hold myself accountable for whatever I'm doing. So they ain't gonna release that. And if they do, this be a hell of a show. Props. So I'm gonna be me all day, every day. We got to do that, right? We got to add some humor, and because we're talking about being human.
Oh, Jesus, we do. And in all seriousness, I think props for that transition. I'll be honest. I sat here and got the twitch over my right eye. And I've been very transparent before, where you understand this, D, there is a level of responsibility that comes with this platform. And it scares the living crap out of me to when we deviate away from information sharing and mental health and whatnot, and have to delve in these spaces, because I understand the power of influence. And it just, yes, yeah, I'll just leave that there.
Let me wrap this with the last thought, though, that
yes,
with this situation and everything that's going on, like, as you alluded to so many times during this segment, it's human. We are human. We are not perfect. We all fall short to the glory of God, right? Ain't that the way to like? So it's okay to be human, and that's what I try to hopefully show in how I move. That yes, I am not exempt from being human. I will continue to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes, right? Though that's why I say I don't take losses; I take lessons, because I'm going to learn from whatever transpires. So yes, in this moment, I tell everybody, just be on your P's and Q's. What did Antonio Saldi call me? Mr. Shut It Down. In my head, I'm like, these people got to be watching. Like, if they weren't, they're not doing their job. But I'm not going so I got to be on point, because at any given time, certain things I was worried about statute of limitation, right? Like, because that's the life I live. That's the thing. So it sucked telling people, like, you know what? I ain't knocking what you're doing, but guess what? I'll need to be sideswiped behind what you're doing, right? So all love, nothing but love for you, but you can't see me at your house every day. Like, you can't, my car ain't gonna be on nobody's radar, because whatever you're doing, I don't need that type of attention, right? Like, and it doesn't change the love I have for you as a human being, right? And that's with the uniqueness in saying, like, I can love you from a distance, right?
What do we say on this platform? It's the foundation is always love. And I thank you for bringing me back as we're approaching this 2 year. The foundation is always love. There's oftentimes we have to love from a distance and practice tough love. And that at the foundation of all of this, love, sometimes tough love, and love from a distance. And D, if you're cool with that, I want to end that part.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the things that we also do, and listen, I appreciate you. One of the things that D instituted, I think it was the second week that he imposed and took over, and we started Freestyle Fridays, was that we honor and pay homage to those who have passed from violence, and those who have passed from COVID. There are still people dying from COVID. Alex Goldstein over at 90 West has been doing the faces of COVID. I think we're about to hit 1 million, if we did not worldwide. There's a lot going on in the Ukraine. Thousands of people have been killed, soldiers, Russian soldiers. Somebody loved that Russian soldier, Ukraine soldiers. And so we are going to take a moment. Well, Darren, go ahead.
Yeah. So, in the spirit of, just again, trying to get back to a sense of normalcy, we've been doing a moment of silence for those that are no longer in the physical form. So if we could take a second to just appreciate the contribution of life that they gave to us while they were here. Thank you.
That was the bell for the moment.
Yeah, and that was really like, Darren, you have a 10 o'clock meeting coming up. But thank you, James. I appreciated this dialogue. Hopefully, folks that's viewing, share it, let others see it. I think it definitely is helpful. And again, April 1st, K's Oasis.
April 1st, K's Oasis. That
first Friday, it's free. And really, we're just trying to, be community. That's the theme. Like, can we be in community with one another? So, yeah, let's get it.
Thank you, bro. I'm going to go and pay some bills. You get to your 10 o'clock. I hope I don't have one. All right, I'll be in touch, sir.
Cool.
Thank you, man. Just a quick notice for everyone. Next Saturday, I just met with the folks yesterday, so I have to get the flyer together with all the other stuff that I'm doing, the Eventbrite link and all of that. 2 years, as Darren mentioned, we're coming up on 2 years as of next Thursday, and we're going to celebrate it here virtually. But next Saturday at 3 p.m. at the Underground Cafe, we're coming together to celebrate 2 years of Java with Jimmy and also present the Red Cup Awards. I don't know if I'm ready to make the announcements yet. I just need to see if the second person I notified got the notice, because I want them to know before I make an announcement here. And I don't see the acknowledgement of the email yet. So I will wait. So please plan on coming out next Saturday. There is going to be a fee assessed, probably about $15, because the last couple of Java cafes have been fully paid for because they have a minimum that they need to sell in food, and maybe folks weren't as hungry when they came to the Java cafe there at the Underground. And so again, the purpose of going there is to support that Black-owned business. Rob and others have asked for us to come together. I will put this back up here. If you all attended the last one, we had a slight scare. Everybody's not vaccinated. There's a rumor out about another iteration of the Omicron. What do you call it? Not segment. What's the thing called? Variant. And so you will need to, let me take the flyer down so you can see my face in full capacity. Everyone entering the Underground Cafe at 3 p.m. on next Saturday, you're going to need to show your vaccination card. And I would be remiss if I didn't say this. A legitimate vaccination card, please. Don't put people at risk if you're not fully vaccinated and boosted. I was struggling whether I'm going to say we consider fully vaccinated, not one shot, but 2 and booster. This is an unfortunate reality of the times that we are in. We just got through talking about venues and socializing and whatnot. This is a part of it as well. So next Saturday, yes, a celebratory event, and I had to bring that up. But and speaking of celebratory events, I need to go in and make sure that Ma sees yeah. All right, so let's end on the birthday and go over some of these comments first. So yes, COVID has mutated again. Delta, there's another I don't know if they're calling this one Deltacron, but Omicron has another variant that is started over in Wuhan. I forgot, over the place in China where this all started. Absolutely, Pastor Marion. The stealth variant, I heard of that one, but this is just like in the last 2 days that I heard another Omicron sub variant. Hey, Lasagna, Lasagna's late and we didn't wrap up. Let me just make sure I don't have a 10 o'clock. Jesus, hold on. Okay, beautiful. I actually have a wonderful gap. And so I need to take care of some stuff, like get that flyer and all that stuff set up. But Lasagna, good to see you in the room. Belinda, I don't know what's going on with the notification. Oh, Belinda, for the flyer link and all that stuff is slow. It's just a lot. Still a lot. Though I have wonderful help. Keys, Danny, a young lady out of on the West Coast, does some digital stuff. Doing his best to manage me. Registration is coming, Asia. It is coming. All right, let me get off of here. I did see this earlier, but didn't get a chance to read it. There's no true trust in community. I'm sorry. People will smile with you on Monday and throw you under the bus on Wednesday and reverse over and repeatedly. Let's be real here. Shaking my black head. It has happened and will continue to happen. I know what it's like to be dragged. That's not my motive for anyway. All right, listen, Charmaine, thank you. All right. Today, with all that we talked about, today is a queen's birthday. And so thank all of you. Before we talk about the grand queen, let's talk about the other queen, Sharon Cornelius. The mothers that are attending next Saturday, you all will have your own little section. The mothers board will have, their own little section over there. So y'all know who y'all are. But I just wanted to, again, acknowledge, let me put some music on, acknowledge my mom's birthday. From Heidi, from her sister, Auntie Java, from her daughter, and also from Asia, from Nariki, from daughter again, Nikki. Who else? Her mother. I already showed these. I'm sorry. Good morning. These aren't birthdays. Sorry, y'all emojis threw me off. But there's a lot of love from Pastor Marion that's known my mom for a long time. Sister Rena. I almost said Pastor Rena. And celebrating the Queen as well. Folks, I'm going to get ready to wrap up and get out of here. Will, good to see you in the room. Lorna, good to see you in the room. Miss Teresa, good to see you in the room. Stan, good to see you in the room, brother. Will, I think I covered you. Hakeem, what's going on, brother? Good to see you in the room. Thank you all for tuning in today. I was going to say I was going to say the SORRY word if you were disappointed that we didn't go the way that you presumed we were going to go. Don't what you call it. Hold on, Misha. Lord have mercy. Oh, Jesus. I just saw another comment from you. Here's my baby sister. Let me go show her salutation to her mama because that's her baby. That's the baby girl. Y'all know my eyes are getting ready to roll in the back of my head as I'm scrolling up this thing real quick. Misha, happy birthday to Misha. I am going to make sure, Misha, that I show it on the screen so I don't get in trouble. Linda, good to see you in the room this morning as well. Hopefully you're still here to hear me. Misha, I thought I saw yours somewhere. Maybe it was later to Misha. Oh, where's your emojis? I was looking for like a cake and emojis and stuff. That's why I skipped it. That's my baby sister, y'all. I can do that. All right, I'm leaving. It is 10:07. I got to go do a lot. I'm telling y'all. Should I say this? I'm taking some downtime to get ready for next week, and that includes, and I've embraced this thing called D&D. Do not disturb. I will put my phone on do not disturb so I can stay focused. And yeah, I just need to do that because yeah. Belinda, right on time. Because it is a lot. It is a lot. And so anyway, I'm not going to go into that. We're going to share some things next Saturday and next Thursday. Kurt Faustine, as I call him, is going to be my co-host next Thursday morning. Pastor Matt Thompson is going to join us. And Sharon Cornelius. I need to get Lord Jesus, what is the man's name? It's not Greg. What is the man's name from UCB? For those of you, I'm just so honored by this, that UCB considers watching Java with Jimmy a community event, and they get points toward gift cards and things from watching Java with Jimmy. Sharon, we might need to have you on Misha, I did not skip you. I don't think I did. Oh, you talk about the sister award. Anyway, next week is going to be funny because the pins, yeah, the pins are exclusive for a period and only. So, all right, I'm getting off of here, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in today. And we'll see you. Today's Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. I may go live later. At a school. I'm a guest speaker at a school amongst some young kings that I get to meet with today. And so I got to go shave and make a wonderful presentation to them. And so keep me in prayer for that. I may need to pre-record for Sunday for your anniversary. Record something for your anniversary. Props, we can do that. It's going to be a little bit different this year on the virtual one. Last year we made a year, and that was very big to me. And we made it another year. It made it big. You know, it's big to me as well. But it just is not it's just not as hype, for lack of better words. Next Saturday, we're going to give the awards. We're going to eat. Oh, $15 to enter, and then the Java packs are $20. And this is kind of determined by what the Underground did. You're getting sangria, spiked coffee, a menu item, a keepsake, and I think a bag of chips. And you get that next week for $20. So the whole overall event is like $35. We'll have merch there on sale. We'll have the candles. We'll have the hoodies. And my prayer is that we'll have the cups coming in on a Friday, the regular cups. All right. So I think I got everybody. I'm just not going to be present. I know. I wish you could hit Kelly. The pins are not online. The pins are just, we're still working out how those are being distributed right now. Team members, awardees, and that's it for right now. Because those are when we get ready to do things and whatnot, your pin is going to get you discounts, early access, all that other stuff. And so, yes. Oh, yeah. Next Thursday is a special day for another reason, and we'll talk about that next week. But yeah. You better bring your happy self in this room next Thursday for a couple of seconds, brother. Anyway, the mother's board will be in attendance. I know. And y'all are keeping y'all mask on. If y'all are eating, y'all stay in y'all section, because we're still going to ask folks to keep their mask on unless they're eating and drinking. I'm not fully out of my COVID bubble yet. All right, it's 10:11. One of the longest sessions I've been in a long time. I'm getting off of here. Don't forget, next Saturday, the 26th, $15 entrance fee, $20 for your Java pack, and other menu items will also be available as well as the hoodies, candles, and also hopefully the new Java with Jimmy mugs. All right, have a wonderful day, everybody, and we will see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m.